Hello everybody, this is Blade Cross EXE.
And Ryoji42, what's up guys?
And welcome back to our second Q&A session. Well, welcome to our second Q&A session. We've had some of our viewers, both on YouTube and in the Discord server, ask us some questions specific about our content and or interests. And we have a handful to answer here today, and this time I got Ryo with me, so we should have something of a wider variety of answers than last time.
I'm helping.
Alright, so our first question is over on YouTube, and it comes from Toma Byakuya. They ask, at FlashingBlades, did you know that the Gundam series appears, together with the likes of Mazinger Z, Voltron, Code Geass, Evangelion, and Gurren Lagann, in an obscure franchise called Super Robot Wars? Have you played any of the games? If so, what's your opinion on them? Well, me personally, I definitely knew that the games existed, and I've listened to the soundtrack of several of them. If you've seen any of our Gundam videos in the past, a lot of times I'll actually use music from Super Robot Wars that was featured in the actual anime series. I'll use the Super Robot Wars version as a means to get around copyright striking here on YouTube. So, like, songs like Men of Destiny, Beyond the Time, I'll plug that in from Super Robot Wars or the SD games instead. But I definitely knew about the series, and I haven't played any of the games yet. But I have played one game called Project Cross Zone, which features some characters from Super Robot Tyson, and I actually have started that one as well. And I'm not sure if it's part of the same franchise, but I was under the impression that Tyson actually kind of translates to something similar to Wars. Because you have games like Sakura Wars, and then some titles are Sakura Tyson. They're part of the same franchise, but I think they're probably two different things, even though they look pretty similar to each other in terms of art style and such.
I'm wanting to say they're pretty separate.
If they are part of the same series, then I'll put an editor's note in here to fix that. But I haven't experienced any of the works, but again, I like the music and I really love the art style.
As for me, yes, I was very aware that they've been featured in Super Robot Wars. I have only ever played one, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't even remember which one it was. But it was the thing that introduced me to the Katana Liger variant in Zoids, the Hayabusa and the, I think it's called the Mugen Liger, and that thing was sick. I did not know there was anything other than New Century and Chaotic Century up to that point, because I actually wasn't on the internet very much as a person at that point in my life. But yeah, no, loved what little I've actually messed with of Super Robot Wars.
I wasn't even aware that there was like a samurai style lighter.
It's got, this is going off of years ago memory, but it's like it starts off like one katana, like blade liger style.
Yeah.
Goes to the katana wakizashi style, which I think is like the Hayabusa one.
Yeah.
And then just eventually goes to like two full size katanas and just basically strike laser claws with a sword.
I really like that idea.
Yeah, it's really sick. I think it's like fusers or something like that.
I was kind of surprised to learn that Code Geass was featured in this, because while I do know what Code Geass is, and I've watched a couple episodes of it, I knew that they had mechs.
Yeah, nightmare frames are a big thing.
Everything I've heard talked about it, it wasn't really focused around the mech combat, it was more focused around the story and the characters. So I definitely knew they were a thing.
Yeah, both are pretty big.
Yeah, I just wasn't aware that they were as big a part as like the mobile suits were in Gundam. But
the Lancelot unit was sick.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Kai-san. At FlashingBlades, favorite Mega Man spiritual successors or Mega Man inspired games? Ooh, I've got a really fun one that I don't know if a lot of people are gonna know about.
I haven't really played many of them. The only one that I can name off the top of my head that was definitely inspired, Astro Striker Gunvolt.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've only played the original one on the 3DS, and the art style is phenomenal. It's definitely, Mega Man Zero inspired, and I honestly think Gunvolt has made a big enough name for itself that it actually doesn't have to live in Mega Man's shadow anymore. I did also play Mighty Gunvolt, which was like the whole Mighty No. 9 Azure Striker Gunvolt 8-bit crossover game. Mm-hmm. We haven't played Mighty No. 9 yet. I've actually been meaning for us to get that for years. It's sitting in my Amazon cart, rotting away. It's even the collector's edition.
I have it on PlayStation.
You do?
Yeah.
You've had it this whole time and didn't tell me?
I have it on PlayStation.
You didn't tell me.
I don't have the DLC, but I have the...
You wanted to forget about it, so that's why you didn't tell me. But I wanted to play that despite how, how many people have bagged on the game over the years. I was actually really hyped for when it was announced because it was coming from the biggest creative mind behind Mega Man. And, it looks like Mega Man, but it ain't Mega Man, so I'll at least give it a shot.
As for me, this is a very easy answer for me, because it's actually a game by Inti Creates.
Yeah.
I still don't know if it's well known or not, but it's a game called Dragon Marked for Death.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Alright, it's an RPG style game inspired specifically by the Mega Man Zero games.
So along the same veins as Azure Striker Gunvolt.
Yeah. And it comes in 2 halves. It's very cheap. If you haven't heard of it, haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. The game is phenomenal, and there were still updates coming out when I had to move on to other games. But it comes with two versions of it. One has 2 characters, the other has 2 characters.
Yes.
And you can buy a complete version that has all of them, and all of the characters are fun to play. They're all unique. And it's very Mega Man Zero dungeon crawly, and it's fun. It's really fun. We need to actually get on that because I've been dying for a reason to play The Witch because it's the only one I haven't beat the game with.
Right.
So I could play The Witch and you could play something else because it is also fully co-op.
I am 300% on board for that. What system is it on?
I'm pretty sure it's on Steam, but I am positive it's on the Switch because the Switch is what I have it on.
All right. So
and I bought both variants.
Well, after our big mega marathon for the Legacy Collection in April, sometime later down the line, we'll throw that onto the pile of everything else we've talked about wanting to stream.
That works.
All right, our next question comes from Some Call Me Riot. Would you like to see Mega Man EXE in a Capcom fighting game? If so, how would you make him different than X, Zero, Mega Man, Roll, Tron, etc. in terms of moveset? I mean, I would be on board for having Mega Man in any form featured in anything. That's why I really love Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, despite its glaring problems, because it gives me 3 characters from the Mega Man X series to play as. Zero returning from 3, and it gives us X and Sigma. And I'm in it for having Mega Man in literally anything. In Smash Bros, I main the Mii fighters because I can dress them up like Mega Man characters. X and EXE and Proto Man, all them. As for how I would make him differ, honestly, kind of coming out of left field on this one, maybe give him some movesets kind of inspired by Onimusha Blade Warriors. Like, maybe not exactly make him all heavy combat-centric with, like, up close and personal with swords, because that was the main combat focus of the game, but give him, like, a few different sword techniques, because swords were a big part of Battle Network, and, especially in the anime. I think that if we're thinking about Marvel vs. Capcom specifically, then some hyper combo moves he could have would be similar to X's armor transformations. Like, you could give him, like, a powered-up armor form to where you just get a base stat buff across the board, and your ultimate attack would either need to be Proto Soul, doing just a really big sword slash, probably Beast Out form, doing, like, a claw rush, or Hub style, just doing the big vaporization blast, kind of like how he does in the manga. Because, canonically, Hub is Mega Man EXE's most powerful form. As far as just other weapons go, I'm trying to decide how we would need to make his Buster operate in a fighting game. We could kind of have it like Zero, to where you just press and hold it and then release it for a charge shot. Various hyper combos could include like a super focused charge beam, iconic program events like Life Sword, maybe Zeta Cannon, like some of the most iconic ones used in the games that were recurring, or ones from the anime. Like, they could take art direction from the anime on how they did things. But aside from that, it's because EXE's arsenal is so vast, it's kind of hard to nail down just a single moveset for a fighting game. And they did manage to succeed with X, and even gave him some moves I wasn't expecting, because usually when it comes to the fighting games, they always take like the most iconic stuff that they have. Like I've talked about before, things like with X and Zero, you would take most of their X4 equipment because that is what everybody knows and everybody expects. But I would definitely love to see it. I just would definitely need to sit down and think about how we would incorporate him into something like Marvel vs. Capcom specifically. As for Smash Bros., that's a whole different can of worms, which it's like, without going on too big of a tangent, when Mega Man Classic showed up in Smash, I was expecting something similar to Marvel vs. Capcom. The only thing that was similar is that they both do Shoryuken and have a Charge Buster. Aside from that, night and day. Completely different. Not even comparable.
Alright, from a slightly different perspective, I am a huge fan of anime fighters. Like, we'll still just randomly go on to Under Night from Arxis.
I burn!
Yeah, Blaze Blue Cross Tag.
Yeah.
Just love them. And
That,
honestly,
that was the wrong game. I apologize.
same people.
I was thinking the Ruby crossover game, but that was Blaze Blue Cross Tag.
Yeah, it has Under Night characters in it.
Okay, that's why.
They show up. You remember the Carmine. But anyways, so I would adore just a Capcom fighter by Arxis, because I mean it's not an uncommon thing, because there's like a Dengeki Bunko fighter that's got like Shauna and just like that anime franchise fighter. So like franchise fighters aren't unheard of. So like a huge, well, I guess Marvel vs. Capcom kind of fits in with that, but just have the Capcom in an anime fighter style.
Well, yeah, that's called Street Fighter.
You know what? Fair enough. But Mega Man EXE in this, I want a stance change Mega Man. You enter a command, maybe it's just an empty quarter circle back, and he shifts into shield style.
Okay. I like that idea. Kind of like in Mortal Kombat, to where you can. Which game was it? I want to say it was either. I'm not even going to pretend to know which one, but I know in some Mortal Kombat games you can change your fighting style and button commands on the fly.
See, that's more. It's not Shaolin Monks, but that's one where you can switch it with a button.
Yeah.
Stance characters and standard fighters, it's like you enter a command. Think, not Yoshimitsu. Well, Yoshimitsu. Or Eddie Gordo.
Yeah.
Where you enter a thing, it's like all of a sudden Yoshimitsu's like standing on his sword and jumping around. That's a stance.
Okay.
So like you roll back and you're in shield style, or you roll forward and suddenly you're a race cross.
Just like incorporate different different armors and abilities from across the entire series, instead of just having them narrowed down to one game or set of games.
But see, and then the trade-off can be, it's like, okay, so you go into a race cross, or I don't know, Proto Soul, something like that. Well, you visually shift into whatever stance you just went into. So it's going to give your opponent a lot of information as to what you're about to do. So in trade-off, because you're literally telling them, I'm probably going to do a half-screen life sword upswing, because you're going into Proto Soul, but it's going to be a half-screen life sword upswing, because you're giving out that much information. So it's like, better be ready.
Or you better jump, because I'm about to do a guard-piercing erase cross eye laser to just cross-maps you.
Yep.
Like Dio's stingy eyes from...
So give me a stance-changing anime fighter Mega Man EXE. I would be all over it.
And I honestly think that actually would be one of the best ways to represent the character, with his vast array of different abilities and then weapons.
And then going Arxis style, Arxis is really, at least in my experience, it has a history of having like one-hit kill desperation kind of things.
Yeah.
Like if your bar is all the way up, you're at low HP, and it's the last thing of a round, you can do a one-hit kill. So imagine it's like you do all of these crosses and style changes and double souls, and then you get, it's the third round, both of you are at low HP, you go into your one-hit kill, you connect with it, and it goes into the cinematic in its hub style.
Is it like big vaporization beam, or is it kind of like Battle Network 5 where he just waves his hand and you disappear?
Yeah, just be gone.
I erase you from existence.
So our next one is from The Mask. At FlashingBlades, what is your favorite nut navi? Oh, no, Medi. No.
That's not what he meant!
Oh! Net navi. I'll let you start this one. I need to go and purify my thoughts.
Favorite net navi? I've stated this one multiple times as well, and I've also said this on the previous Q&A when I was asked about favorite EXE character, Laserman.exe. Love his design, love his setting in the story, love his weapons, love pretty much everything about him. The only thing I really don't like is how he didn't return for Battle Network 5. Since Regal is now up in your face and over the top cartoonish with how villainous he is, I'm just sad that Laserman wasn't in Battle Network 5. But aside from that, I love just about everything about him. His ominous presence, the whole way he teleports in with that staticky, door to darkness kind of thing. His massive laser cannons on his back, which, honestly, I wish that in the games they did it the way he did in the manga. He just flips them down and just fires two giant beams instead of just making it rain rocks. He's got the whole Iron Man hand lasers. Really cool. And the way he just absolutely destroyed Shade Man in the anime. Quite graphic for a kid's show. Of course, they really had to censor that one in the English dub of Access. My second favorite, though, which is kind of came out of nowhere being my favorite after years of playing the games, I started to latch onto him because of the anime Video Man. Maybe that's
a cool one.
Maybe it's because I've really been taking interest in having content creation as a career, so that kind of formed some kind of synergy with him, because he is in the anime, he is a filmmaker, and he actually, everything he does, it's part of being a filmmaker and video editor. he'll like hijack movie reels and all that. He'll put himself into the movies. He'll corrupt VHS tapes by putting copies of Mega Man in them, make TVs explode. It's silly. And he's honestly more of a threat in the anime than he ever was in the game. And I love that about him. I love his design, and I really, really like the anime version of Video Man.
Honestly, for me, it really does have to just be Cosmo Man. I don't have, like, a long laundry list of reasons to just gush over him, but, like, my dude has the aesthetic. I can't front about it. Like,
Purple Galaxy is a glorious aesthetic.
Just look at it. Just look at it. If I had to pick another one, I really think Serenade's just whole design slaps.
Yeah.
And I think I might just have a thing for the sleek, super powerful, like, just there's nothing wasted, if that makes any sense. Like, there's not a whole lot of, I don't want to say there's not a whole lot of noise, because, you know, Cosmo Man does have, like, the sparkle going on.
Yeah.
But to bash on one of my favorite franchise, look at an X-Antibody Digimon.
Yeah.
The concept is cool, but some of them are a bit much.
All those spikes, all those points, like
Cosmo Man and Serenade don't do that.
They're sleek looking. They're visually appealing. They're not distracting.
All of the power goes to power. None of the power is uncontrolled and going off into a random spike off their shoulder.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's just it. I dig the aesthetic. If I had to pick just like a favorite other than those two for a non-aesthetic reason, is it Flame Man, the match one?
Mr. Match has 3.
Yeah, no, or like the lighter.
Oh, the lighter, that's Heat Man.
Heat Man.
No, Flame Man was Battle 3, Heat Man was 2 and 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Heat Man, I adored playing as him. That was phenomenal.
The only thing I didn't like was when you're playing his trial tutorial and you have to hit the kettle with a fire-based weapon. You can't run from the fight, but your charge shot only hits 2 panels forward, and if you just so happen to not have any more fire battle chips, you're soft-locked. You gotta restart.
Sucks to suck.
Hope you saved. I definitely get what you mean about Cosmo Man, though. I actually think he kind of replaced Laser Man.
A little bit.
Like, if he didn't replace him, it was a thing of Laser Man kind of worked under him, because while Laser Man is Dr. Regal's personal Navi, Cosmo Man controls the Nebula's Dark Galaxy universe.
Yeah.
He is the god of the Dark Realm, basically. So, while his boss battle really wasn't that difficult, his presence is commanding with how he looks. And, we've talked about, I'm pretty sure it was on stream before, I don't remember if in the anime, like, his whole star pattern on his body actually moves, but it gives the impression of the emptiness of space and the vastness that comes with it, and that is, like, applied to his perceived power. At least that's the way I take it. That's the way I take his design. That's just me, though. Alright, so our next one comes from, I believe it's pronounced Orpheus?
Yes.
At FlashingBlades, who do you think would be the best couple? Gio and Sonya or Gio and Luna? I'm gonna say Gio and Sonya. Dude literally time traveled to rescue her, and the entire build-up of the Operation Shooting Star crossover was him saying that he's lost someone important to him and he needs to get her back. Now, I will admit, Star Force 3, you watch Luna get disintegrated by Dread Joker. Oh, I forgot, Rio hasn't played Star Force 3 yet. Oh.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just spoiled that. Whoops. Okay, well, yes, Dread Joker literally disintegrates Luna. And even on those tiny sprites, you can see just the sheer amount of despair in Gio's eyes as he's sitting there slumped over on his knees just looking at where Luna used to be standing.
Yeah.
After she got vaporized. Now, of course, because it's Kid's game, she's not permanently dead. She just got turned into EM wave fragments, and you have to go around and piece her back together and bring her back to life. But still, that was a heavy moment. And the fact that you are able to go through that little arc, it does lend something to the kind of ship between the two if you want to go at it from that angle. And Luna was the one who was insistent on getting Gio out of his shell back during Star Force 1. But that said, as much as she cares for him, I don't see the same chemistry between those two as I do with Sonya. Especially if you watch the anime, and even in the games, Sonya and Gio are actually able to fight side by side as Harp Note and as Mega Man, whereas Luna did have an EM wave change form, but she couldn't use it to help when the situation got tough. Like, Bud, later on, did get Taurus Fire back, and he could use it as an ally, but Luna never did. She didn't get her Wave Change form back.
Well, having not, finished the Star Force games,
Sorry about that.
I shipped Geo and Solo.
Bruh.
Nah, I don't know. I just don't really have an opinion. Someone somewhere does, so no shame.
Literally, everybody will ship everybody for anything, even if they have no interaction. I've seen people ship the main characters of Outlast, even though they have literally no interaction.
So yeah, I don't have an opinion because I haven't finished it. Maybe someday. All right, next question's from Omega Gino. What version of the Legacy Collection will you be getting?
All of them.
Yeah, I was about to say, between us, all of them.
I eventually plan to get it for Steam, but I've already got it pre-ordered for Switch and PS4, and I really hope this video goes up before the launch of the game.
Yeah.
No promises, but I hope.
Yeah. I'm also getting it for the Switch because I feel like everyone's getting it for the Switch, but I feel like Steam is going to be where the mod scene and the tournament scene is going to be. So
PS4 is undoubtedly going to sell the worst out of all platforms it's available on.
Yeah.
RIP to Xbox users. I would like to see it come to Xbox One, and if it does, I'll buy it for that too. Anything to boost sales. But let's be real. This game started as a portable. We want it portable.
Yeah.
Even Steam. You get Steam Deck, put it on there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Switch is definitely the way to go, but for the majority of the content we'll be making, we're going to be using the PS4 version just because the Switch is mine. Like I'm playing that personally, casually. That's mine. I'm reliving that.
Yeah.
So anything we do competitively, I'll probably throw Switch in there later, like months down the line, but when it first starts, we'll be using the PS4 for content creation. But yes, we're getting all of it.
But most importantly, with the aspect of this question, regardless of what system you get it on, you will at some point have the chance to play with us.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That's the real important part.
Yeah. No matter what, we're always connected. Our next question comes to us from Mark Hastings. What was your favorite style or most used style for Battle Network 2 and 3? Follow-up question, which styles do you think look the coolest?
Alright, Bug Style, and Bug Style. No, but like, for real, Bug Style is... Ugh. Love that thing.
Did you see what Bug Style looked like in the manga?
I did.
Yeah. It's definitely different. It kind of broke the mold of what Bug Style traditionally looks like, but I'm okay with it.
It's still it's an amazing design.
Yeah. I do like how they kind of use Bug Style to transition from style change into Double Soul, though.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm a Heat Guts fanboy. It's kind of cliched. It's kind of cliched. It's kind of generic, but I mean,
it's a classic for a reason.
It is, and I am a heavy hitter when it comes to any game that involves power, and it's just like it doubles your buster output. So even if you run out of battle chips or can't find a good one, if you're maxed out in Battle Network 2, here's a 100 damage flamethrower that reaches to the back row because Guts doubles your buster damage. Oh, I also have super armor, so that really helps with my busting level. Oh, you hit me? Yeah, unless you stun me, that's not doing anything. Just burn, sucker, burn.
Also, a little bit of an addendum for me. If I had to pick a specific bug style, Water Bug, for naming reasons, and it was my favorite buster.
It's also just the most iconic, that's the one everyone knows. Which, little side note, it's ironic that when it comes to all the different art for the different style changes, Ground style got shafted hard because the worst style to have for ground, or worst element, is Elec. But yellow is like the most earth-like tone they have, so I guess that's why they went with ground style being yellow. But Zap Ring is the worst charge shot you could have with ground style. But as far as for which style I thought looked the coolest, I'm probably gonna have to say either custom style or shadow style. I am a sucker for that scarf, and I like the ninja aesthetic. It's just that shadow style was incredibly wasted because your charge shot turned you invisible, which is great if you're trying to dodge enemy attacks, but your elemental affinity means next to nothing aside from giving you a weakness. With shadow style, it has no benefits to being a specific element. But custom style, I really love how, the backpack looks awesome. Functionally, it's great. And I'd argue that in the anime specifically, that was Mega Man's most powerful style change.
I can see that.
Because he's just like, yeah, I'll get this, team style's pretty cool. Shield style's Gut style, got you a big power boost. Custom style be like, here's a couple of program advances back to back, and I'm just gonna nuke everything with these Hyper Burst, Mega Death Burst program advances, just complete vaporization. And again, it looks the coolest. Just because the backpack with like the big pipes coming out of it, I just really, really like it. I'm a sucker for backpacks and jetpacks.
Our next question is from Curb, and they ask, what is your favorite Mega Man game? It's another pretty easy one for me, Legends. I know it kind of deviates from the norm in a lot of ways, but like, I think that was the first Mega Man game for me that I actually like played all the way through, and it has that charm and nostalgia for me. Like, here, mission start.
Yeah,
it's just even today. I could load up one again right now and just play through it.
Do we agree that the voice acting for Mega Man specifically was better in 1 than it was in 2?
It was.
Me personally, my favorite Mega Man game, it's really hard for me to choose, but it's a toss-up between the original Mega Man X and Battle Network 2. X was my very first Mega Man game. And then Battle Network 2 was the first that I owned out of the Battle Network series, and gameplay-wise, it was just such an improvement from the first game. And I've already covered both of those in my previous Q&A, where it was just me, and I was talking about which one was my favorite in each series. If I had to pick one, I would say X, because while Battle Network is my favorite series, X is my favorite Mega Man. My favorite one to bear the title of Mega Man. And if I hadn't played X, I wouldn't be as head over heels for this franchise as I am. So without X, I would not have gotten into Battle Network. So just based on that, even though I liked Battle Network series on the whole more than X, the first X game still holds a place in my heart. And in a lot of ways, you could say that it probably has aged better than Battle Network 2 has, because Battle Network 2 has definitely got some jank. But Mega Man X as a solo game still holds up incredibly well. Like I said before, it's basically a perfect game almost. Not the perfect game, but objective quality-wise, with almost every aspect of the game, it scores high all around. Alright, and our last question for the night comes from Some Call Me Riot yet again. At FlashingBlades, will you ever get a Mega Man Star Force Iceberg video or videos? Maybe.
Let's finish what's going first.
Yeah, I definitely want to finish the community collaborated Man EXE Iceberg chart videos first. I have 2 more left to do. One is the final compiled Iceberg, and then the other one is going over points that were suggested but didn't make it for one reason or another that I thought were worth covering. I might do a video on a Star Force Iceberg in the future. I won't be making another Iceberg, though. You know, I won't be spearheading a project like this again, because one was enough for me.
I have watched this man, like, work himself to the bone.
But I would love to take a look at it, and it would definitely give me a chance to refresh on the Star Force series, which I've been meaning to do for a while anyway. I would love to take a look at it and cover the trivia, but I won't be making an Iceberg for this one. But if I can find a good one, preferably in English, because you'd be surprised how many Mega Man Icebergs are not in English. Like, I found a good number of them in Spanish and other Latin languages that I do not speak or read. But I am not opposed to the idea. I'm not going to make any promises. It might be a couple years down the line, Iceberg videos would probably be out of style. I mean, technically, I was late to the party with the Battle Network Iceberg anyway, but I just thought it was too good to pass up because of how many people are watching it. Even to this day, it's still getting a good amount of traffic. It's our most viewed video. But, you know, if people ask for it enough and people really want it, then I'll add it to the to-do list after we get everything else sorted and everything squared away. And so, that brings us to the end of our second Q&A video. Great questions, everybody, and I hope we had some good answers for you. If you'd like to ask us a question, either on the Discord server or in the comment section of this video, just drop a comment down below with @FlashingBlades Q&A.
And if you have a question for one of us specifically, just @FlashingBlades Q&A, and then either Rio or Blade, and we'll answer it specifically, I suppose. I look forward to doing this again.
And if you haven't already, join our Discord server. It's open to everybody, and the invitation for it should be in the description of this video. This has been Blade Cross EXE.
And Ryoji42.
Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Peace.